Welcome to Our Hometown, the show where we take a look at the people and organizations that make this area unique. I'm Jim McCallum, I'm your host, and we have a great show for you today. First, we'll speak with Dr. Ernie Ward, who will tell us about the Calabash Christmas tree lighting and parade. Then we'll speak with two members of Brunswick Little Theater who will tell us about their up-and-coming production of the Nuncrackers. And finally, we'll speak with Doug Dressler here at his facility and talk about the wonderful cars and memorabilia that he has. So stay with us as we explore more of our hometown. My guest today is Dr. Ernie Ward. Dr. Ward, you wear a lot of hats, but today you're wearing the hat of the Calabash Christmas tree and lighting and parade.
That's right.
Thanks for being with us.
Oh, thank you for having me. And this is one of my favorite hats, by the way, because allows me an opportunity to give back to the community that's given us so much over the years.
Well, the amazing thing that I just learned is that it's 20 years that you've been involved in this, and initially it began at your instance, right?
It did.
Right.
You know, this was back in 1995, and Calabash and Carolina Shores were sort of waging a little bit of a war between whether or not they would separate. And we were looking for a way, you know, I was a young veterinarian, I just started my clinic a few years earlier. We were trying to unify the community. And we looked around and we realized there wasn't a Christmas event in Calabash in the community. Right. And so we started it out of that really humble beginning. And what we did was we said, let's unify the community and let's help those in need. And so that's what started it. You know, it began with me leading Christmas carols, singing these goofy dog and cat themed carols, you know, with a handful of people, and now it's grown to an event that, you know, this year we expect 800 to 1,000 people.
Let's break it down a little bit. The unique feature that I learned is that it's an evening event. It starts at 6 o'clock. Let's give our viewers the date, of course.
Yes, it's Friday, December 4th at 6 p.m. in downtown Calabash, right there at Callahan's of Calabash. And it is unique because it's a nighttime parade, and it is a full-on family fun entertainment show. I mean, you're going to be wowed and amazed. But at 6 o'clock, we kick it off. We've got 20 or 30 floats that roll through. Again, that nighttime spectacle for kids. It's something you don't want to miss. We then roll right into entertainment. And this year, we've got a treat. We've got one of the Grand Strand's hottest, funky soul bands. They're called True Soul. They've been around the area for almost 20 years, and they're going to give their spin, soulfully R&B twist on Christmas classics. Of course, we have Ann Hucks once again leading her young dancers from Dance Connection. We've got Movement Works with the adult tap group. We've got the West Brunswick High School show choir. We've got Wayne Krieger once again leading candlelight caroling. Let me tell you, Jim, it is packed with event. It is fun, fun, fun.
Eventually, though, let's understand, it's the parade, and then it's what follows the parade, which are the shows.
That's right? Yes. And we have, of course, it's capped off. The evening is capped off by two special things. Number one, Callahan's contributes this beautiful community Christmas tree. Fantastic. We light it up. So with their help of Callahan's, it's just been a wonderful. And this year, we've got something extra special. Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus always come. But this year, it's going to have to be a surprise, but he's going to arrive in a very Calabash unique fashion. So let's just say we want to thank the Calabash fishing fleet for their help. We're also going to have an elf station for children so they can bring their letters to Santa. And of course, they can always sit on Santa's lap and tell him what they want.
Right. Ernie, there's a philanthropic side to this. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is to help those in need in our community.
Right.
And so we ask that you bring non-perishable goods. You can make financial donations. You can give it to us or certainly the Town of Calabash office. But what we try to do is identify, with the help of Brunswick Family Assistance and Jessie May Monroe Elementary School, families that really need, that kind of are outside of the system and maybe they would be, you know, left out or neglected. So we find those families that really could use the extra help in the holidays, and we provide them with food and clothing and gifts and that sort of thing. And honestly, when I look back on the 20 years of doing this, those are the moments that mean the most to me. It's those families walking in, helping, and you see the joy on the children's face and the relief.
We all need to be reminded that Christmas is a difficult time for some of our folks here in Brunswick County.
It is, and many are displaced. They're away from their friends and family. You know, up north, they've moved down to retire here. So this is that one singular event where we can all come together. You know, certainly south of Charlotte and Little River area, we can come together and really celebrate the true meaning of Christmas, which is unity and community.
Lots of caroling.
Lots of caroling. Yeah, we've got, again, Calabash Covenant Presbyterian Church leads the crowd. We have candlelight caroling, so everyone's given a candlelight. It's a beautiful, beautiful ceremony.
And you have show choirs, or one or more.
Yeah, West Brunswick High School show choir will be there,
Okay.
and they're fantastic, giving some of their Christmas carols. I mean, like I said, this is one of those spectacles that bring your family. Your kids are going to love it. But if you're an adult, you're going to be rocking with True Soul. You know, we're up there having a great time. So this is it's truly family friendly, and you'll be done in time to go enjoy a wonderful dinner in downtown Calabash.
I was just about to say that, either before or after or during.
That's
a
right.
chance to go to the Calabash
Yeah, we've got
restaurants.
free food, hot cocoa. There'll be refreshments for the kids. I mean, one of the things that, you know, I don't do things halfway. And one of the things when Laura and I, my wife, set out to do this, we were like, we want to give a show that's the best caliber possible. And so, you know, we really pull it together. And so if you haven't been, this 20th anniversary should be the first time you come down. If you've been coming for many years, come this year because it's going to be something special.
Ernie, I want to talk some more about the tradition of the parade and the Christmas tree lighting, and what a special event it is for families.
It really is, and this is that quaint. You know, I think we've been able to capture the Calabash feel, the small town feel, but yet giving high quality entertainment.
Right.
And at the root of it, though, it's to help those in need. And so, if you would like to help us, please do come out December 4th. It's the first Friday in December, 6 p.m. in downtown Calabash at Callahan's of Calabash parking lot. The whole area is blocked off. It is going to be fabulous. But please help us help those in need, because at the end of the day, you know, our purpose in life is to help those that need it.
Absolutely.
And so for me, this is just that one other way that I can help my community, and I hope that they'll help me as well.
And we failed to mention, for those that just come, it is a free event.
It's absolutely free.
Yeah.
Free cocoa, free water, free everything. Thank
Dr.
you.
Ward, thanks for being with us. It's
Thanks.
a great story.
Thank you.
We
See you Friday, December 4th.
Thanks so much. My guests are from Brunswick Little Theater. They are Bev Vinker and Debbie Skillman. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
You're here to tell us about Brunswick Little Theater's up-and-coming production. It's called Nuncrackers, right?
Yes.
And it's a play on words to the old Nutcrackers production, am I right?
That's right.
Bev, tell us a little bit about it.
Well, there's a whole series of productions called Nonsense and Nonsense 1, 2, and 3. And in those productions, they're light, very funny shows, musicals. And as the series goes, one little nun just always wanted to be a ballet dancer, so the nuns take on the idea of producing the Nutcrackers. And that's how the name comes, Nuncrackers, Nutcracker.
And so our viewers will know it's a wacky show.
It is wacky.
But suitable for Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes. Right. Very sweet, too.
Good. Debbie, you have a role in the show.
Yes, I play Sister Mary Paul, who used to be known as Sister Mary Amnesia. She's quite forgetful because a crucifix fell on her head years ago. But she has an integral part in the show because the nuns bought a TV studio with the money that she won from Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes.
Wow.
So anyway.
So you have nuns, you have one priest.
We have priests.
And you have kids that are involved as well, right?
They are talent winners, and they have come to the convent to be part of the Christmas show.
I see.
And the kids range in age from 6th grade through 12th grade.
Okay. It's a musical.
It is.
We want our folks to know that.
It is.
Dance also?
Oh, yes.
And I forgot to mention, you're the director.
I'm
Am
the
I
director.
right? Okay. You've been in preparation for a number of months?
And we started in October.
Okay. Is it a veteran cast that you have?
It's a mixed cast. We have some veterans and we have some newbies.
Okay. We want to get the dates in. We'll do it right now and then we'll do it again at the end.
All right.
Give us the dates of the production.
The dates are the 11th, 12th, and 13th of December, the 18th, 19th, and 20th of
Okay.
December.
Now, I know the location, but I want our viewers to know just where the production occurs.
It occurs at Brunswick Little Theater, located at 8068 River Road.
Okay. I want to broaden our discussion just a minute and talk about Brunswick Little Theater and the successes that you guys have had this past year especially. Tell us about that.
Well, the theater found a facility which we have been leasing, so it's given us a home, a place to be.
A new home.
Yes, which we haven't had in years, so that's allowed us to expand. We have been very busy with productions, with at least 7 productions this past year, and the coming year we'll see just as many. We have held workshops for adults and for children, and also classes. So this facility has allowed us to expand our scope and to do more.
There's something for everyone at Brunswick Little Theater, am I right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
And not just being on stage, but behind stage or with lights or production or just assisting.
Oh yes, we need volunteers to help with technical aspects of the shows and also to help build sets, to help costume. There's as much that goes on behind the curtain as
Sure.
goes on in front of the curtain.
That's great. That's great. What if I'm watching this production and I think to myself, you know, I'd really like to be a part of a production. I'd like to be on stage or I'd like to assist. What do I do?
Go to our website, www.brunswicklittletheater.com, and we have an auditions page there, and it will talk about upcoming auditions and other ways that you can be involved. So you can come to an audition. We love to see new people at auditions. They're publicized there and also on the Facebook page.
Okay. What if I'm interested, but I'm anxious? What are rehearsals like? What's it like to prepare for a production of this type?
It's a lot of hard work, but it's sort of like a party.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's good. Tell us some more.
Well, it's like a big family.
Sure.
If anybody wants to find a place to be active, to do some interesting things, and to meet a lot of people and have a lot of good friends, theater's the place. Because it is like just one big family. And the people that are working backstage, the people that are working on stage, yes, it's serious, and we work very hard, but we also laugh a lot.
For either one of you, there's magic in theater. For me to play the role of someone else is a broadening experience. Am I right?
Yes.
Talk about that for a second.
Well, you have to think about the character and study the character, and then you go back in your experience. There may be someone that you observed or that may embody what you think your character would be. And then you try to lose yourself in that character. At least that's what I do.
That's what I'm getting at. You try to lose yourself and become another person.
When I work on stage and I'm someone else, I don't think about Debbie too much. I just think about the character. I have to be that character. I try to be that person. There are times on stage when you do have to think, well, I need to do so-and-so and so-and-so, but actually you're losing yourself in the story. You need to be in the story.
Right. Great answer. I like that. Bev, your career has been as a dance instructor.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Can you teach me to dance?
Absolutely.
Even if I have virtually no experience?
Well, a lot of the people you're seeing on stage now haven't had any experience either. So, yeah, you tailor it to the people you're working with.
And you've had a career as a dance instructor.
Yes.
All right. We're rapidly nearing the end of our time. It goes so quickly. But let's talk about the dates again and the place of your next production.
It is 11th, 12th, and 13th of December. It's the 18th, 19th, and 20th of December at Brunswick Little Theater on River Road. And it's going to be a lot of fun and a lot of laughs, but it's also very heartwarming.
And you're hoping for a full house every night.
We are, yes.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Debbie and Bev, thank you for being with us. All the best to Brunswick Little Theater.
Thank you.
Thanks. We're here in Ocean Isle with my good friend Doug Dressler to see Doug's cars and talk with Doug Dressler about a career that's resulted in the beautiful cars that we have here today. Doug, thanks for being with us.
Well, Jim, thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
I know that you and your lovely wife, Chris, moved here a few years ago from the Northeast. Mm-hmm. Tell us where you moved from.
We lived in New Jersey. We both worked in New York. And our careers, my wife's career ended in 2013. And that's the year we sold the house and moved down here.
So you moved here in 13, but your cars didn't get here until a little later, right?
I didn't have it. As you can see, they take up some room.
Right.
And we did not have this space at that time, but I did have space in New Jersey, which I was renting. So we left them up there for almost, about a year and a half. We just brought them down in the last 6 months.
Thank you. Let's tell our viewers that we're here in the old Habitat for Humanity facility at Ocean Isle. Mm-hmm. When you acquired it, it required a good bit of work.
To say the least, yes,
yeah.
It did. It was a structurally very sound building, but it needed a lot of help. We looked at it several times. We eventually decided it was the best choice of the ones of what we had seen, and we bought it and rehabbed it. And as we were doing that, we suddenly realized with all these cars, this building with this wall here is a perfect. Makes a perfect 1956 retro dealership.
And that's what that was going to be my next question. We call it a retro dealership.
That's what we just redid it the way a dealership, as close to what we thought a dealership would have been in 1956.
So you have the cars, but you also have all the memorabilia from the 50s.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons why we did it. That poster's from 58, that one on that wall. The one behind over here, looking straight ahead, is 1956. And the one behind me on this wall back here is 1954. Since we had all these, we thought that and we needed the space up front as well as in the back because the cars take up much room.
Right.
We thought it would be kind of fun to do. For us, we didn't know what the reaction would be, but the people, particularly in the local area here, absolutely love it. They just stop all the time.
I'm going to take you back to the 50s.
Okay.
I'm going to guess you were a young man during those years.
Yes, I was.
I'm going to guess also that you fell in love with cars. Am I right?
I did. I sure did. It started out with trains when I was very young.
Okay.
As I grew older, I found women and cars.
They go together, right?
Well, half of it worked out. The cars worked out. No, everything worked out that way. But I did. I fell in love with cars about the age of 12. I started to notice cars, and I just couldn't stop looking at cars.
When did you get your first car, and what was it, if you can recall?
My first car was a 1955 Ford. Four-door sedan that I paid $400 for, and it turned out to be a pretty nice car. It was a good car, and I went to college in it, and then I went on from there to a couple of Chevrolets. But my family, back in the 50s, things were different than they are.
Sure.
Standards of living weren't quite so high. We could not afford a new car, so we bought used cars.
Well, I want to talk about the car right behind you because that's got a great story.
Oh, the yellow one?
Tell me about your dad and how you acquired this car.
This car, my dad, at the time I had a 63 Chevrolet Impala, and my father got involved in an accident and wrecked it, and it was totaled.
And he told you something.
And yes, he did, because I couldn't get a job, because I was waiting for the draft to catch up to me, but make a long story short, I wanted a car. You
needed a car.
Girls don't go out with guys without cars. And I finally convinced him they'll let me buy a car. He said the magic words that were a big mistake to a car person like me. He said, go buy what you want, you can pay me back, which I did. And I went immediately out and found this in a dealership in Ridgewood, New Jersey, that's no longer there, a dealership similar to what we've done here. And I fell in love with it, and I bought it.
And you've had this car ever since?
Yep. I got married in this car. It kept me going for 7 years. And when I went to trade it in, the dealer said, I'll give you $300 for it. And I said, I don't think so. I think I'll just keep it. And did an amateur restoration, and in 2000 we had it professionally restored.
And it's a 57?
66, excuse me,
I'm
66.
sorry. Thank you, yeah.
Yeah, 1966 Chrysler 300 convertible. And in February of 1966, it was hard to find a convertible. This guy just happened to have this one, and I saw it and said, bingo, this is going to be mine.
And these cars are masterpieces. Do they ever find themselves on the highway?
Today, you mean?
Well, no, on any given day.
Not anymore. When I bought one, I used to see them quite a bit. As I noticed about 7 or 8 years after I owned it, when I was going to trade it in, but didn't, I noticed I wasn't seeing as many. The reason why I wasn't seeing them is they were all being junked. They were used up. But mine I took care of, so I.
But all these are fully operational, and I
Yes.
assume you drive them or turn the motors on to make sure they're in good shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A car's got to be run occasionally, so I take them out usually on the side roads. I won't take them on interstate because of chips and dings and things like that. But yeah, a car definitely needs to be run.
Right.
They want to go.
Yeah.
Like us, they want to go places and do things. They need to be run.
Okay, we're going to take a short break.
Sure.
We're going to regroup, and then we'll take a look at some of the cars.
Great.
All right.
Be glad to
Thanks,
show them
Doug.
to you.
Doug, we're back.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the 1966 Chrysler that I alluded to earlier. It was one that you bought as a young man.
Yes, I did.
Tell us a little bit about the car.
Sure. I bought it new in a dealership in Ridgewood, New Jersey. My dad, unfortunately, had an accident with my car, and I could not get a job at the time because of the draft in 1966, so he financed me, and this is what I went out and bought. Foolishly, he let me buy whatever I wanted, and of course, this is what I went for.
Now, I happen to know that the bill of sale is in the front seat. Am I right?
Yes, it is.
Pull that out and let's talk about it, because our viewers will be interested to know the cost of a car in 1966.
The cost of this vehicle, the list price on it was $4,692.
All right.
The discount was $842, so I wound up paying $3,850 for the car.
Now, in fairness, that was a pretty costly car at that time, was it not?
Yes, it was.
This is a top of the line vehicle.
It was, and at that time there weren't a lot of convertibles around because it was February and '66, so dealers weren't
I see.
stocking convertibles. But this one dealership had this car. I saw it and said, "That's going to be mine." And I met my wife in it, courted her, got married in it, and it was our primary transportation for 7 years. When I went to trade it in, the dealership that I went to trade it in at said to me, we'll give you $300 for it. It was such a good car, I just couldn't part with it. And subsequently, we went on to do a full restoration on it in the year 2000. And this is how it looked when it was new, and this is how it looks now.
So it's gone from $300 to a museum masterpiece.
Okay.
We're looking at the black and gold DeSoto.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about it.
The DeSoto, a 1956 DeSoto, this particular car was their top-of-the-line car. The price of this car from a dealership would have been the same price as you would have paid for a Cadillac or a Chrysler.
Right.
Why? Because this car is loaded with all options, and it's a factory high-performance vehicle. This car is equipped with 320 horses, dual 4-barrel carburetors, 3/4 race cam,
Capable of very high speeds.
144 miles an hour.
Okay, fantastic.
I never did that.
Now a lot of younger folks won't recognize the name DeSoto, and I know it went out of business, but I'm asking you when.
It went out in December of 1960. They produced about 31 or 3,200 61 DeSotos, and then shut it down. And the shutdown occurred sometime around December 15th of 1960 was the end of it. And it basically just, the Chrysler lineup of cars just no longer made this car economical to produce.
But for our viewers, all the cars that you have here that we're showing today are part of the Chrysler family.
They're part of the Chrysler family.
All right.
This is a 1956 Dodge Custom Oil Lancer, which is a two-door. Lancer stands for two-door hardtop or convertible. This is a two-door hardtop. Their chrome trim running down the side was such that you could use 3 colors more effectively than you could on a lot of other cars. So Dodge really pushed 3 color combinations, and they did an awful lot of them. It started in 1955, and strangely enough, it was sort of over by 1957. They went back to 2 colors, using one of them twice, as they did on this venture over here. You've got gold being used twice. Here you've got 3 distinct colors.
Now, you told me before we went on the air that this, when people come to see your cars, this is the one that catches their eye the most.
The girls seem to love it a lot. So do the guys, but the girls seem to really go for this car. But you can sure tell by the color combination, you know, it's something they would enjoy. This car is truly a time warp. It is a 1956 Chrysler New Yorker Newport. Newport signified 2-door or 4-door hardtop. This is a 2-door hardtop. It is a car that has 12,500 miles on it.
Original miles.
Original miles. That's all the miles that have been put on since 1956. It's got a heritage that's interesting. It was owned by Karen and Richard Carpenter of the singing group, the Carpenters.
We remember those, the Carpenters.
They bought it sometime in the 80s, and Richard and Karen were both car people.
Really?
And they created their own museum. And their museum had about 30 or 40 cars in it. Unfortunately, Karen passed away, but Richard, after her death, he did sell off some of the cars. This was one of the cars that got sold off. It was sold to a friend of mine, and I bought it from him just in the last couple of months. So this is a new acquisition for us. These 2 rows here on the top are pretty much items that a dealer would have in stock, and depending on how generous he was, would depend on what you got. For instance, over here we have salt and pepper shakers with the name of the dealership on it. Well, those were relatively inexpensive, so they would go to a lukewarm candidate who walked in the door. If you were a repeat customer and they knew you well and knew you were going to be buying a car, over here you have cufflinks, tie clasps. They gave you jewelry. They gave you playing cards. They could also give you, in those days, they were much more popular than today, lighters, cigarette lighters, ashtrays. This is a mirror and a thermostat for inside the house, a temperature gauge for inside the house. There's another temperature gauge here. The key FOBs, the little key fobs. Key fobs, as they call them. Those were given away. Hundreds of those were given away. What I did was collect some of these things over the years. And the most interesting thing is the one right here in the center, which is nobody seems to be able to figure out. It's a sink stopper. That's the most unique piece, I think, that's in there, because it's not something you see every day or a dealer would give away every day. So that's kind of unique. On the bottom shelf, these were somewhat the add-ons that they try and sell you. Exhaust tips, visors, the records for the record player. That's the case that held the records. And you could get the case. There was a total of 42 records that they made for this Highway Hi-Fi. And you could buy this case, and you could put your records in it. They were spring-loaded. And your visor mirror, today that's common in cars. That was an add-on feature that clipped onto your sun visor. Now it's built into your sun visor, and that is one for the DeSoto there. So those are all things I collected. These are the flags that were given out at the Indy 500. The poster up here is a picture of the only time DeSoto paced the 500. That's the car that paced it. And these were available at the race. You could buy those, or you could get them from a dealer.
Doug, it's been such a pleasure
I'm
visiting with you here today, with your cars, your memorabilia, and especially with you. Thanks so much, Doug Dressler. It's been really fun. Thanks so much.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Our Hometown. If you have a story that you'd like to share, please visit us at atmctv.com. Thanks again, and join us next month as we explore more of our hometown.